come to order. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Chair Levere,
Yes, here.
Vice Chair Webb,
Present.
Authority Member Amen, Authority Member Fallenweider,
Present.
Authority Member Buchanan,
Here.
Authority Member Schock, Authority Member Ravindran. Here. We have a quorum.
Great. Will you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, moving on, we have an agenda before us. Is there any alterations or adjustments to it? Seeing none, we'll move on to minutes to be approved. Item 4A, certification of the November 13th, 2019 regular meeting minutes. Are there any alterations, changes, comments on the minutes from last month? Okay, so now do we have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes of the November 13th, 2019 regular meeting of the Littleton Licensing Authority.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain, I wasn't present.
You don't need to abstain. All you're doing is certifying my certification.
All right, add my vote to the certification.
Thank you.
And sorry, for my clarification, was I supposed to use the board for that vote? Okay, I'll use that in the future. My apologies. Okay. Item number 5 is a public comment, and so this is a portion of the meeting where we allow for a public comment from members of the public on anything that is not currently on the agenda. If there's anyone that would like to speak before the authority and provide public comment, now is your chance to do that. Okay, seeing no public, Pam, nothing from you? No. Okay, no public comment tonight. Let's see, moving on to agenda item number 7, a public hearing. 7A is a resolution for approving a new liquor license application for Colorado Pinball LLC, doing business as Colorado Pinball Pub, located at 6207 to 6209 South Santa Fe Drive, Littleton, Colorado. And for this one, do we have someone from the licensee here, the applicant? Hello,
Hello, good evening.
your name?
Dan Nikolic.
Dan?
Dan, yes.
Okay. And Dan, are you the applicant?
I am the applicant.
Okay. And sure. And for our petitioner, would you step up and say your name?
Carol Johnson for Esquire Petitioning Services.
Nice to see you again, Carol. Will you both raise your hands? And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this authority is truthful?
I do.
Thank you. This is a public hearing on your application for a liquor license. We have part of the agenda here, 7 attachments. Can someone remind me, do we admit those or do we?
We accept them as part of the record.
Okay, we've got 7 items in the total accepted as part of the record for this application. Sir, would you like to go ahead and tell us about your business and why you're seeking a liquor license?
Yeah, we're planning to open a new pinball pub, which is going to be kind of a pinball area where we can have people come and have some recreation in the city of Littleton. My background is we've actually run a pinball and classic arcade event for the last 15 years in Denver metro area, and we have about 3,000 to 4,000 people that attend that event. There's a strong need for having somewhere more of a permanent location, so that's what we're planning to set up, is a permanent pinball place that serves alcohol and a little bit of food as well. It's right next to Hudson Gardens. Our other plan is we're going to have a deck out back so people can sit and enjoy the outside weather while they're not playing some games.
Great, thank you. So is it that little strip center right next to Hudson Gardens that's used to have a vacuum store, I believe?
Correct. It used to be the Littleton Flower Shop.
Yes.
Flower shop, yeah.
Yep.
City Park.
And for this application, you submitted a petition showing needs and desires. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Would you like to have your petitioner present her findings?
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen. Petitions were done, the residents were done on November 17th and 18th, and businesses were done on the 12th. We tried to do the areas closest, but had to radiate out because of really not much residential on the west side of Santa Fe. So there's kind of a scattering around, if you notice the map. We did a total of 506 door knocks, 454 were residential and 52 were businesses. We had 141 people sign the petition, 48 who declined to sign, 26 who were ineligible, and 311 who did not respond to the door. Of that, we had 110 residents and 29 business owners or managers for 139 in support for 98.6%. We had 2 residents and 0 business owners or managers in opposition for 1.4%, equaling the 141. The 2 who signed in opposition, 1 was a non-drinker and 1 who felt there were sufficient number of outlets. So in the final analysis, we had 139 in support for 99.3%, 1 in opposition for 0.7%, for the total of the 140. And I'd be more than glad to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for the petitioner, Carol Johnson, at this time? Seeing
I have a
none,
question for Mr. Nikolic. I have several.
obviously. Thank you, Carol.
Okay,
That's great.
thank you.
We'll take back the applicant.
Mr. Nikolic, can you give us an idea of how many seats will be at the bar?
I believe our occupancy on our drawings is shown as 48 inside, then about another 30 in the back on the deck.
Okay, so in addition to the bar, there'll be individual tables to the north of the bar, in that area to the north of the bar?
Correct.
Okay. And how many games do you intend to place both in the larger establishment and then the one to the north?
We're looking at about 20 games.
Okay. And looking at the drawing we have, is that a solid wall with an opening between the bar and seating area and the game area?
Yes, so it's a solid brick wall with about a 4-foot by 6-foot tall passageway through the wall.
Okay. And if you have personnel or you have patrons on the north side in that gaming area with alcoholic beverages, how do you intend to monitor their use of the beverages and whether they're passing them among patrons or whatever? Not to prejudice you, but pinball attracts a variety of ages, from teenagers to people my age. So how do you intend to police that?
Correct, yeah, so we have cameras that are going to be throughout the facility that are web-based as well, so that you can pull it up right on your smartphone and have access to it behind the bar area as well.
Okay. And looking at the parking situation from the aerial that was provided, there's only about 4 or 5 places in front. Where do you expect the patrons to park?
So we have a parking agreement with the rest of the shopette, so there are 8 spaces there, and then if you look on the east side, we cleaned up an area and rocked it and added 3 additional spaces there. And then there's a little bit more parking in the back that I think are shown on that site plan, but it may be a different one.
Being down to the west of the building?
Correct.
Okay.
Will you be serving food?
We will be serving some food, yes. So mostly heat and serve type of items. So we have submitted our health department requirements. So we'll have a turbo oven so that we'll have, we're planning to have calzones and some items that we're working with other small businesses to have them prepared for us, and then we'll be able to heat and serve those items.
How many staff do you anticipate hiring?
At once or, per shift,
How many people will be on duty, I guess? Is what I mean.
probably 2 to 3 people will be
Okay. And are you planning on
It's
train-
about, the space is not very large. I mean, on the plans you can see, it's about 750 square feet upstairs, and then downstairs is like 500. So it's not a huge space.
Are you planning any particular training for serving alcohol for your people?
Yeah, we're looking into tips training. In the past, I've served alcohol at CU when I was in college, and I managed one of the beer stands there, and we did the same thing, tip certified everybody, so.
Okay. When you did that, did you carded people then when people bought alcohol from you?
We did, yeah. So when I worked up there, I worked at one of the concession stands inside the stadium. So we.
Ever turn anybody down? Ever turn anybody down?
I did not have to turn anybody down there. You would think that would be an issue since it's a college area, but I didn't run into that at all.
When do you hope to open?
Right now, we just finished rough plumbing, electrical, and mechanical. So finishes are going in now. We're hoping by the beginning of January, we should be finished up and be ready to start pulling our final building permits or our final inspections with the city. So we're hoping to have some soft openings by the middle to end of January.
And you said you ran events, like big pinball events previously?
Correct.
Are you planning on moving those to this event, to this space, or not?
No. So that event that we run, it still runs. It runs every Memorial Day. It's at the Denver Marriott in the Tech Center. It's about 40,000 square feet and 4,000 people. So we could never accommodate that here.
Give us a sense, if you will, of how does this business operate? Does a patron come in and pay to use the machine, or do they pay a one-time fee? Do they have a subscription card? How do they access the machines, and then how do they order the beverages?
So it'll be quarter play, just like it was a long time ago.
So coin in, coin out?
Yep, you can come in and put your money in the change machine and buy your quarters, kind of the way things used to be. It's kind of keeps the nostalgia and the retro feel. And then you'd walk up to the bar, and there's 4 tables in the main bar area. So if we were on a busy night, we would have a wait staff that would come over and be able to take your drink for you, your drink order or your food order, or you'd walk up to the bar and be able to order there from the bartender.
What are going to be your hours of operation as you envision it right now?
We're looking Monday through Thursday. We'll be open about between 3 and 4 o'clock, depending. It'll be late in the afternoon, and then we'll be closing around 10 o'clock on weeknights, 9 to 10, depending on what things look like. And then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday will probably 11 o'clock in the morning till 11 or 12. Littleton's kind of a sleepy town. I live in Highlands Ranch. Everything kind of closes up pretty early. So we're expecting kind of this similar type of situation is no later than midnight would be my expectation on a Friday or Saturday night.
And Sunday? You can be open on
Sunday would be probably close early again. I would guess that same 9 to 10 o'clock time frame, because it won't be as busy. That would be more of a time where in the afternoon we'd have, our expectation is people would come, they'd come down, they'd maybe buy a drink, bring their kids with them to play some games with them, and more of a family establishment.
Just to help us understand your background, tell us what you did for the GSA.
I'm an engineer, so I actually manage large construction projects. So I've built everything from courthouses to warehouses, laboratory facilities. So I would manage a large construction project. I'm actually general contracting the work that we're doing at the pinball pub. So that's my background. I'm an engineer is my background, so I'm a professional engineer by trade.
So this will be your first liquor license that you will be directly managing?
It will be my first liquor license, yep.
Will you be on site managing the operations?
I will be on site managing the operations as we're getting opened up, and the plan is eventually to be able to transfer that over to a permanent manager. But I think that's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, it's difficult to find the right person to fit those roles, especially now with the market.
And just to be clear again, how many machines?
We're expecting about 20. We'll see how the layout on paper works versus the layout in the real world. I think that's what we showed on the drawings was somewhere around 20 in that neighborhood. If we can squeeze one or two more, we would do that. If it's a little too crowded, we'd pull a couple out.
Any additional questions from the authority for the applicant?
I did want to mention one that item on our drawing. It shows where our storage area is, but I don't think it shows we were able to secure some additional space right adjacent to in the basement that our landlord has allowed us to have. So we're actually going to have our storage be there so that it's more secure, that we can wall it off and have a secure door to it. So you can see it on the drawings. There's a door that goes from in the basement next to the mechanical room. It's about 10 by 13 in the adjacent space underneath the North 6207 address.
So, I'm sorry, so you're saying that secured storage is
It
going to
will
grow?
be, yes. Well, we just were able to work with our landlord to be able to get that. We thought it was going to be a little tight for the storage space that we had. I just wanted to make sure that we had plenty of storage. So we were able to negotiate that additional space from him in the
And
last couple
what will be
weeks.
stored in your secured storage?
Alcohol would be stored in
All
that
your
area.
alcohol will be
That
in
would
there.
be where our alcohol would be stored. And probably some dry good food as well.
In the secure storage?
Correct.
Why is this going to be more secure than the secured storage that's represented on the drawing?
What we're able to do is there won't be very many people that are going towards that way, and the door it doesn't look like it's a little separate room where that storage is right now is kind of looks like a closet built out. It just looks like it goes into another space. So no, it's a little less conspicuous, I believe, than the other space would be.
Will patrons be going down into the basement for any reason?
Currently, it's shown as storage, but that would be our plan would be if we had need to be able to put them down there, we would like to be able to do that in the future.
Oh, so taking the new space that you just acquired that will become your utility and secure storage
Correct.
space, and then this stuff is converted to patron space,
Correct.
additional machines, additional tables.
Yep.
Just so we have a clear understanding, tell us about the beverage mix. Is it tap beer, bottled beer, mixed drinks?
All of the above. So we'll have the space that we currently have, we have a kegerator that'll be upstairs. So we believe we'll have about 6 beers on tap in a kegerator on top. We don't really have the space for a cooler with a glycol system. So that will be upstairs. We'll have another cooler with bottled beer, and then we'll have a small selection of wine as well as a full bar for mixed drinks.
Additional questions from the authority for the applicant? Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
It's 6:51. We will open the public hearing for comments. Is there anyone in? No. Is there anyone else in attendance that would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll take a motion.
I'll go ahead. I move that a resolution of the Littleton Licensing Authority be approved, which grants Colorado Pinball LLC, DBA Colorado Pinball Pub, 6207 through 6209 South Santa Fe Drive, Littleton, Colorado, a lodging and entertainment liquor license contingent upon the approval by the Colorado Liquor Enforcement Division and based upon the following findings of fact. 1, that the notice of the hearing was properly posted and published. 2, that the applicant has possession of the premises and the premises are suitable for the requested license. 3, that the needs of the neighborhood are not now being met. 4, that it is the desire of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood that the license be issued. 5, that existing similar liquor licenses in the designated neighborhood are not adequate. And 6, that the applicant is of good moral character, record, and reputation.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion on the table. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will go ahead and vote.
The vote is 5 in favor. The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, moving on, item number 8, staff reports. Any news or?
We were going to have another new license applicant tonight for Grand Market of Littleton. We had some concerns with the initial needs and desires canvas that they presented, so they have hired Ms. Johnson and Kelly Peters to reconduct it for them. So we will see them in front of you in January.
Thank you. Any reports from the authority? Nothing from me. I believe that concludes our business. We are adjourned.